Welcome to episode 80 of The Leap Home, Killin Time.
In this week's episode, Sam has to prevent a hostage situation from either escalating or resolving, while Al chases an escaped killer in 1999. If the man can't be returned to the waiting room in time for the next leap, it could mean Sam is trapped forever or even killed. Faced with an alluring distraction, can Al remain professional and bring the bad guy back? Or will Sam's leaping days end with a bullet to the brain?
That's fantastic. That's great. I could kiss you if you didn't have bad breath. I'm touched.
Afternoon, Ian.
Hello, Gerry, how are you?
Well, I could kiss you.
Could you?
No.
That's good. It's not my bad breath, though.
Never?
Not on this occasion.
Nope.
We do offset our seating positions just to avoid the possibility.
Always. At angles.
Very much so. This is another one of those episodes that sticks in the memory for me. I remember pretty much blow by blow what happened.
Haven't seen it.
Did you enjoy the expansion of Gucci's role?
I did. I thought this was a fun episode, a good episode. I was wary that season 5 might take a nosedive in terms of the quality of the episodes, but I've been pleasantly surprised, apart from the JFK 2, which would have been fine if it was a one-off. Even the shrew with the annoying Brooke Shields was a fun episode. Last week's was good. This week's good. Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't leapt any sharks yet.
I'm enjoying it. I think this might be my favourite season so far.
Before we get started, let's go through the socials. It's the same as last week. We're at Leap Home Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, etc. Show notes at leaphome.com. Sorry, theleaphome.com. Every episode 1 week early on Columbo Podcast Productions YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit notification bell, and you'll know as soon as they appear.
I think we'll leave the chit-chat aside and just get right down to it this week.
Good idea.
Let's crack on.
The intro this week is slightly different from what we saw in last week's closing tag.
Yeah, it's an extended version, I think.
And I think it stops at a different point. So Sam leaps into this man at the window with his gun, as before, but now he checks a diary and immediately discovers the date.
Very conveniently. What date is it?
It's the 18th of June, 1958.
And he turns to see that he is holding a mother, her name is Carol, hostage alongside the daughter Becky. They have their hands tied and Carol is asking him what he wants.
He tells him he doesn't want anything.
Really, obviously, he doesn't know what he's meant to want.
So he makes an immediate declaration.
Yes.
At this point, the little girl, Becky, I say little girl, she must be of a certain age because she doesn't see Sam as Sam.
Well, that's a question I had, yeah.
We see this immediately. She says...
No, but she doesn't see Al, that's the point.
Yes, but she also doesn't see Sam as Sam, which the young children have done in the past.
Yeah.
So I think she's older than she looks.
Okay. I thought she was around 9, but...
Well, the actor would have been 12.
Yeah, but often you hire an older...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, she points to the television where she says, it's him.
Yes, we see a dramatic report on Leon Stiles, who is on the run in connection, or certainly wanted, in connection with the murder of at least 8 women. This is pretty serious stuff.
He's an illiterate drifter, and we heard last week that he's escaped from custody, but we don't hear that here.
Yeah.
We just see Sam standing up and seeing his reflection and saying, oh boy.
Now, as I said, I've not seen this episode before. When it said he's an illiterate drifter, I noted here, it's an odd thing to be reporting on the TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Character.
Yeah, what's his favourite show growing up as a child? What type of...
He's got green hair, blue eyes.
Exactly, it's very specific and it doesn't seem as if it would be that important. However, it turns out that it, of course, is.
They've just slipped it in there because they need it for the plot later on.
Yes.
After the credits, we do get that comment from which we saw last week about Stiles having killed 2 deputies to escape from custody.
Before he switches off the TV and considers that, while as a rule, he doesn't judge on first impressions, he believes that rules are made to be broken.
As you say, Sam is judging presumably himself, the person he's leaped into, rather than Carol or Becky at this stage on first impressions. He turns on a light which startles the 2 women. They say women, the woman and the girl.
Yeah, females, not women.
Is there a collective noun that we can... No. Carol immediately tells Sam where her jewellery is and that he's free to take it.
Well, I think at this point, assuming that we know what Stiles' background is, yeah, if you can get away with being robbed, you're probably quite happy with that.
Yeah, but we don't ever really, because later on we're told the profile of Stell's victims, which Carol doesn't fit. So why is he here?
Well, I think she does. Blonde.
Well, they're all sex workers. So how did he ended up in Carol's house?
Well, he's hiding out. He has to find somewhere to go.
He just found a house and she just happens to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's, close enough, sort of blonde and youngish type woman.
Maybe. Becky, at this point, asks whether Sam is going to kill them because he's still holding his gun.
But he assures them he won't, and he puts this down in order to support this position. That's quite a dangerous thing to do.
Well, not when they're tied up, it's not.
Their hands were tied together, I noticed this.
Right.
So they weren't tied to anything else. You could have walked over and taken it with both hands tied together. But anyway.
Carol promises not to report Sam for anything if he just leaves.
And as she pleads, Sam is desperate for Al to arrive and give him some advice, but
Some context at least. Yeah,
he's not there. And we find out why.
Yes, back in the waiting room in 1999, we've got Al squared off against Stiles, who is holding a weapon.
Yeah, so he himself is being held at gunpoint by the real maniac. He's demanding answers.
Before we see the two of them, we hear Al's voice saying, "Where did you get that gun from?" Which I think is covering up the fact there's a scene deleted, but we'll get to that later on.
Yeah, because initially I thought he must have leapt with his own gun, but that's not how it works.
No, and also Sam's got his gun.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, I can explain it later on.
Okay.
He's acquired a gun.
Obviously, Al is struggling with how to tell him the truth, or if he should tell him the truth. And he claims that the door which Stiles points to only leads to a storeroom.
That's a lie.
Of course, Stiles doesn't buy it and forces Al to open it up. And as they walk towards the control room, they're met by Gushy.
Yes, so Gushy's reaction is designed to illustrate to the viewer that Stiles looks like Sam to people in 1989, but it's really weird the way they've done it. He's not surprised to see Sam, who's spent the last 5 years sleeping.
Exactly. Sam, that's the whole... They're trying to get him back.
Well, they never actually mentioned doing that, but yes, apparently.
Yeah.
And they haven't been able to. So why... And also Gushy knows that when people leap, they look like Sam, so...
Yes. Yeah. Why is he so casual about this? In any case, it's a big shock when Stiles points the gun directly at him. And just then, a military officer walks in and, seeing the situation, draws his own gun.
Al, however, won't allow him to intervene because if Sam is in a situation where he has no one to leap back into, or the person can't leap back into themselves, then Sam will either be stuck or perhaps they don't even really know what will happen.
And so it results in Stiles taking Gushy's car keys and gets directions to the exit and promptly leaves. He makes a run for it.
He does, and Al gets the soldier there to let all staff know not to resist this guy and to make sure he's able to leave safely.
I'm not sure why he tells him not, why he allows him to leave. You don't have to shoot him, but you can pen him in.
Well, he's got a gun, and it puts everyone at risk. But then letting him out puts a lot of other people at risk. Yes, no, exactly. I think it's a wild choice at this stage and really badly handled, especially when he's saying you can't call the police because we're too high security for the police to know about what's going on.
Yeah, so you've
that seems a bit dodgy as well.
You've let a known serial killer in an extreme state of stress run loose in a population.
And there's no way to know he won't encounter the police anyway.
And there's no way to know that you can track him down and get him back.
Yeah.
No, so instead, Al says that he will bring him back alive and wants Ziggy to prepare a profile on disc to be ready for him after he updates Sam on the situation.
Yes, so he goes to do that, and we see, back in 1958, Sam pacing around the house.
Having had no input from Al, Sam is about to succumb to Carol's pleas and untie them until his friend eventually does turn up and insists that he does not let them go. Instead, he walks into the hall where he must terrify Becky and Carol. He starts talking to Al, but in this situation, that just looks like you're a psychotic, insane maniac.
Yes.
In any case, he does have a conversation with Al.
Where the hell have you been? Oh, well, I had a little situation I had to
You
deal
have
with.
a little situation. I
Yeah.
have a little situation here, Al.
Yeah.
I'm an escaped killer.
Well, that's sort of what I wanted to talk to you about.
Did you see those two in there?
Yeah, that's Carol Pruitt and her daughter Becky.
Oh, it's so nice to be on a first-name basis with my hostages.
Yeah.
I'm letting them go, Al.
No, you can't.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because they're the only thing you've got to bargain with.
Bargain with who?
Leon Stiles, this is Sheriff Hoyt. The house is surrounded. Give yourself up before anybody else gets hurt.
Cut into the phone line. Let's give you a direct line in and out. Think he'll give himself up?
I don't know. Why don't you ask him?
Have a cocked and loaded.
Grimes.
Calling. We just got word from the hospital. Deputy Collins died on the operating table.
Get my rifle out of the car. Go on, do like I said.
Couple of things on this one.
Okay.
How does Hoyt know where he is?
Who?
Sam or Stiles?
He's been maybe tracking him down, following him.
It's a terrible attempt to hide out then.
Our witnesses saw him go into the house.
Yeah, maybe we could mention that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. We heard there the deputy tell Hoyt that one of the officers that Stiles attacked on his way out has died. So we heard earlier on that he'd killed 2, so that means he's now killed 3 officers to escape.
Once you start talking about 2s and 3s, it doesn't make much of a difference.
Yeah, I suppose, yes.
Sam still wants to untie Becky and Carol and give himself up, but Al insists that he can't, as in the original timeline, Hoyt killed him during, or Hoyt killed him when he was leaving.
Yes, and we find out why.
Yeah, this is pretty dark.
Yeah, and a conflict of interests, I would suggest.
Massive.
So Hoyt's daughter was murdered by Stiles.
Apparently accidentally in the crossfire, so he wasn't trying
That's
to
one
kill
of his
her.
victims, but yes.
So, question is, who is Hoyt's superior? Would that be the sort of DA, the local government? Because there's no way he would be allowed to be involved in this situation.
I mean, it's possible it's an elected position and he therefore doesn't have anyone above him.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
He's too emotionally involved, and you can understand his position as well, but someone has to, for his own sake,
Yeah.
take him out of this, and of course we find out.
Yeah, later on. And Al, at this point, explains to Sam finally what is happening in 1999, and Sam's flabber is gasted.
Yeah, I think he's obviously very embarrassed to explain.
Al is, yes, of course he is.
What went on, how Stiles managed to escape from the waiting room, and the entire complex.
Sam is not happy about any part of this.
Yeah, and against Sam's initial advice, he informs him that he will have to personally get him back, as if he dies, he won't ever be able to leap again.
That doesn't necessitate Al doing it, but I suppose he knows the stakes. So
yeah. He does try to pep him up by telling him that he won't be alone. Gushy will take his place, but makes a point of telling him that the hostages are the only thing between life and death for him at this time.
yeah, so he has to make the sheriff believe that he's willing to kill them.
Yeah, so at this point, the phone rings, and Al tells him that, yeah, he's got to buy some time by making, as you say, the sheriff believe he's capable of such acts.
I feel like the sheriff probably already thinks that, given that he's murdered his daughter.
Yes.
It's not like he's going to be doubting the possibility.
8 people he's killed, but
Oh, he might not kill these 2. Yeah. He sounded on the phone, to be honest, like he's a nice guy now.
So, yeah, precisely. Sam reluctantly puts on this act. That reminded me a bit of the scene in Midnight Run, which you watched, where De Niro's got the Duke, and he's telling the bail bondsman, the guy hired him, listen, I'll put a bullet in him right now if you don't give me the money. And he has to turn around and say, nah, I'm only joking.
Yeah. Hoyt calls Sam a pissant.
Yep.
And neither of them say they want any innocent people hurt. However, Sam insists that if the sheriff takes one step towards the house, he will kill all the innocent people.
Before hanging up and turning around to look at the 2 with a bit of shame on his face.
Indeed. Back in 1999, Gushy has some good news for Al.
Well, firstly, yeah, we see that Al he means business because he's got his sort of 80s leather jacket on. This is
Nothing
streetwear.
flamboyant now.
No.
Yeah.
He's doing a bit of Charles Bronsoning, you know, a bit of a vigilantism.
It gives you the impression that when he comes to work in these crazy outfits, it's just for work. And
Yeah.
like, he leaves in a suit or something.
Yeah.
But at this point, yes, Gushy tells him that there is a tracker in the car, which Al had recommended to him previously.
Yeah.
Al's delighted, and as we heard at the top of the show, says he would kiss Gushy if it wasn't for the halitosis.
And as Al leaves, Gushy asks if he's sure that he wants to do what he's doing, which gets the response from the resolute Al that he's witnessed Sam for the last 5 years helping complete strangers. So I think, you know, it's his turn now to sort of return the favour, as it were.
Yeah. So, back in 58, Sam is trying to explain to Carol and Becky that he's not actually going to kill them. It's not very persuasive, however, because they know that he is a serial killer.
Yes, but you have to say that Carol is doing her best to act unintimidated. She's not cowering down. She is quite forceful, which, you know, can go both ways.
Yeah, well, it could
risky.
antagonise the guy, I suppose, yeah. But I think she's trying to look strong for the kid so the kid doesn't get scared. Becky, the young girl, asks Sam why he hates them, but Sam insists he doesn't, and he understands that they're scared, but there is a reasonable and logical explanation.
Yeah, I think, does Becky not say, oh, why did you kill all those people? And at this point, Sam, all he can do is, I suppose, answer honestly and from his heart that he didn't do it.
Yeah, no, it's Carol that says that to him, yes. He explains to them that they wouldn't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think Becky's question about why he hates them, I think it's maybe a bit of a sort of gut punch.
Yeah.
To him. It's not, it's like, oh,
there's an emotional impact there, yeah.
Very much so, yeah.
He realises he's terrifying a child.
Yeah. We've seen him do this before, and it's very unorthodox, and I'm never particularly happy when he does resort to this, but he tells them there is an explanation, but they wouldn't understand. However, when Carol urges him to try, he, unbelievably decides that in this situation, honesty is the best policy.
I don't expect you to believe everything I'm about to tell you. I mean, I'm the one telling you, and sometimes I have trouble believing it myself. My name isn't Stiles. It's Beckett. Sam Beckett. In 1995, I created a secret government project called Quantum Leap. Now, I won't bother explaining to you how it works, but the result was the ability to travel in time, to inhabit other people's lives.
And now you're here.
And now I'm here.
How come you look like the man on television?
When I leap, you see the person I've leapt into, but when I leap, it's my body that's here. It's my spirit.
And the real Leon-style spirit is
In the future. See, and that's the problem, because he escaped, and my friend is looking for him to bring him back. I was going to give myself up, but in the original history, Stiles was shot when he surrendered. That's why I can't let you go. You're the only thing keeping me alive until my friend comes back.
Do you have any idea what that sounds like?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why Sam thinks that telling the truth is a good idea. It makes you sound like an utter lunatic, unhinged. Your grasp on reality is completely gone, and they must be really panicking, worrying that they're about to be murdered here.
Yeah. We should pick out the nugget from there where Sam explicitly says, "It's my body that leaps." Mm-hmm. So that, no ambiguity. It doesn't make sense he was pregnant, though. Or a couple of other things.
Yeah.
But he's stating here unambiguously, "It is my body that leaps." We should probably note that. Doesn't fit with all of it, but you know.
Meanwhile, outside, the sheriff whittles as he tells his deputy that there's no rush, but he has no intention of negotiating.
No, you don't negotiate with a rabid dog. You trap, kill, and bury them.
The deputy seems to understand the conflict of interests and suggests that maybe he and some of the other guys take over, and defends this position by claiming that he doesn't want his friend to do something that will ruin his career.
Yeah, so they're seeding the actual ending here. Hoyt tells him he appreciates the concern, but that this man killed his daughter and he fully intends to repay the favour. At this point, someone should be on the phone saying he's going to kill this guy no matter what.
This is just a revenge killing.
It's not justice of any kind. Yeah.
No. Back in the house, Becky is asleep on the sofa as Sam unties Carol and assures her again that he's not going to hurt her. Now, she mocks his future boy story, which he has to accept, before he notices her textbooks and finds out that she is studying for a medical degree.
Yeah, Sam, of course, takes the opportunity to mock her for waiting until she's so old to study.
Yeah, he admits that he is surprised, and she reveals that I think it's her ex wasn't very supportive of her ambitions.
Oh, somebody else's fault.
But he himself got a degree, then they get divorced, and she is now going to do what's best for her.
Yes, she no longer has any revenge in her heart. It's all spent, and she just wants to make a good life for herself and her daughter.
He skims through one of the books and remarks that it brings back memories, which gets a sneer from her, as she believes that he is illiterate, and that's why obviously it was mentioned in the news.
How does Sam know that he'll remember any of this and he's not Swiss cheesed?
Exactly, he can't remember who his wife is, or...
He doesn't remember he's got a wife.
No.
But he knows every bit of this textbook.
Yeah.
Anyway, she is sceptical of this claim, but agrees to ask him one or two questions.
I quite enjoyed this, to be fair.
It was good fun.
So she asks a few questions, he answers correctly. She thinks that it was lucky, or he glanced at the textbook. So they do it again. He obviously answers more in-depth questions.
Yep.
And I think this, obviously, I'm not sure, would that convince you that he's a future boy, or would you think there's some other
I would just think,
involved?
What on earth is going on here? This is a really dangerous situation with a very dangerous man.
Yeah.
Sam gets a surprise at this stage.
What's that?
Gushy shows up in Al's place and says that history has been changed.
Yeah, but it's not good news. It's not good changes.
Well, on the upside, he no longer gets shot when he surrenders.
No, he now gets killed inside the house in about 91 minutes' time. But not only that,
Becky gets killed as well.
In the crossfire. He's making a complete mess of this.
But there's not going to be any crossfire because Sam's not going to shoot back. So the sheriff must just come in and just start firing indiscriminately.
Yeah.
That's really bad. A bad look for him.
Yeah, I mean, he should end up in prison himself.
Or at least a mental hospital.
Yeah. We catch up with Al on the road.
This was weird.
Okay, tell us.
So Ziggy compliments Al on his bravery, but thinks his chances are below 34%.
Yeah, well, firstly, Ziggy is installed via a CD.
Well, might not be a CD, maybe some kind of laser type technology.
It's certainly on a
it
disc
looks like
anyway.
a CD. There is a physical disc.
However, she profiles Styles and reveals his traumatic childhood and his suspected involvement in the murder of a number of prostitutes.
She projects that he will now probably target sex workers in this era, now that he's free.
Yes, and then warns him to be careful as we see him arrive in a large city at night. I like the look of that.
Future city.
Yeah.
And back in 58, Carol is becoming quite frantic because whilst talking to Gushy, Sam mentions Becky's name.
Yeah. Gushy tells Sam that he has double-checked and there is no mistake. And so Sam does his thing of manhandling the distressed Carol.
Well, he's trying to manhandle Becky, but she puts herself in between.
Yeah. And tells her that he's going to save Becky's life by letting her go.
Well, fair enough.
And so he calls Hoyt and agrees a deal that he will let the child leave if he promises not to storm the house.
Hoyt agrees to this and Sam says she'll be out in 5 minutes.
And we see an emotional Carol hug her daughter and send her out before going through to the bathroom. She's very emotional.
It's quite telling that she can't answer Becky when Becky asks her whether Sam's going to hurt her.
No, so I think that shows that even with the future boy story...
Yeah, she's not persuaded.
No. Oh, you wouldn't be, would you?
No, of course not. So Becky does leave the house. Sam isn't shot in the process.
And Gushy provides surprising information.
Becky's safe, and there's a 91.6% chance that Sam should now be leaping.
But it doesn't work like that, I thought. Didn't think there was triggers. We were told that recently.
Well, who knows what they are. But anyway, Ziggy thinks he should be leaping. He's not leaping, and they suspect it's because nobody's in the waiting room.
Yes. And things get worse as Gushy tells him that the chances are that he still gets killed by the lying Hoyt, this time in less than 1 hour.
So Sam sends Gushy back and tells him to get Al to hurry up.
we leap forward to 1999 again, where we see Styles pull up to a streetwalker in a great, it's almost Blade Runner light.
She's wearing a Christmas tree light set. Like, literally, I think, Christmas tree lights.
Yeah, and they have a chat and agree to go across to the fantastic neon-worded sex world.
Where she seems to have an apartment.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
It seems more like living accommodation rather than temporary.
As soon as I saw this, I was thinking that Al will turn up and he will be greeted like Norm from Cheers when he enters.
Hi, Al. Hi, everybody. Al does show up at this point after they've disappeared and parks behind Styles' car, but is shocked at this point when he hears from Gushy.
Frustratingly, it's only the voice who explains the deadline Sam has before we rejoin the disorientated Styles.
Why does Gushy not just phone him? Why does he have to connect his brainwaves and appear in front of him? It's 1999. Mobile phones are all the rage. At the very least, car phones.
True, yeah.
Anyway, they can think of this with technology. They can't think of a mobile. 5 years from everyone having one. Anyway, yes, as you say, we go to this sex world dungeon apartment place.
Yeah, where Styles is not sure what is going on.
There. Come on in. I won't bite. Unless you're into that kind of thing.
How'd you do that?
Do what?
With the lights.
Oh, it was magic. How about a drink?
Yeah, sure.
Bar. I haven't seen you around here before. Say, I like your outfit. I used to have a pair of pajamas like that when I was a kid. Only they had feet in them. Here you go.
Wow, you do like to party, don't you?
So what are you into? Talk? Games? Movies?
Movies.
I knew it. Guys love movies. Video.
You're gonna love this.
What's that?
What do you think it is?
Don't play games with me, whore. Just tell me what it is.
It's a video screen.
You've been living in a cave or something?
I don't know what the hell's going on here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What year is it?
What?
The year! Just tell me what year it is!
It's 1999.
Don't lie to me. I think you're lying to me. Why is it you whores are all liars, huh?
No, I'm not.
All right, Leon, hold it.
You drop it, or I'll kill her.
Hold it.
Shut up!
Leon, I know you're confused. But the truth is, you don't belong here.
What, this some kind of dream or something?
No, it's not a dream. I came to take you back, Leon.
Back to where?
Back to 1958. There was a mix-up in an experiment. And accidentally, you traveled 40 years into the future. You traded places with a friend of mine who stuck back in 58.
You think I'm stupid?
Why make up a story like this?
People don't just jump into other people's lives.
Well, my friend does, and I'll prove it to you. Cutie, is there a mirror here somewhere?
Yeah, so, okay.
A wee bit to unpack there.
Yeah, go for it.
So, first of all, Styles is increasingly outraged by every piece of modern technology he sees.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously just frustrated because he doesn't know what's going on, he's panicking himself, and everything seems a bit weird.
So he is at the point where he wants to ask what year it is, but then when he's told it's 1999, that makes him even more angry.
Yeah.
So, well, why are you asking if you don't want to find out what year it is? And then Al shows up and says, we've got to go back to the past, future.
And if you're looking at his flux capacitor working, yeah.
Yeah.
And Ali, cutie. I mean,
no, that's
time
not
and a place,
appropriate,
is it? Really?
Yeah.
In any case, Styles looks in the mirror and freaks out when he sees Sam looking back and pumps Al full of lead as he watches him fall to the ground.
Yes, and shoots the mirror up quite a little bit as well.
And then with the beat of, to me, maybe it's just a sort of flashback for me. That beat we heard there and the beat in this sort of score, the soundtrack, it reminded me very much of Madonna's Justify My Love, which I remember was shocking back as a young lad. That video was good.
Was it a good one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very controversial at the time as well.
We've got some music video chat coming up later on in the podcast.
Do we?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Anyway, he bends over.
Who does?
Styles. He bends over Al, the body of Al, and picks up the hand link before cruelly taunting the girl and leaving.
Yes, he pretends he's going to shoot her in the stomach, and then
it's quite a phallic. I think he rubs his gun in her chest.
Yeah, I think he's enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
Al, however, immediately wakes up because he's wearing a bulletproof vest, and the girl offers to take care of him. I think she's trying to recoup the fee that she's lost from Styles.
I assumed it'd be a freebie.
You think?
Yeah.
No, because she looks so disappointed when he leaves. I think she was hoping to...
because she fancies him. He's a little charismatic older man.
That's a trope, isn't it? You know, the sex worker falls for the charismatic hero.
Have you not seen... Well, I suppose I've got to say Pretty Woman, but yeah, it's probably understandable that a woman might fancy Richard Gere.
It's one of these sort of incel dreams, the prostitute that he hires, and she enjoys it so much that she won't charge him.
Anyway.
Yes, Al regretfully says he doesn't have time. Otherwise, no problem, but he has to leave. And we head back to 1958, where Hoyt is speaking with Becky.
Yeah, she confuses him by saying it's Mr. Beckett who has her mother and that Styles is now in the future. She tells him what Sam told her, and obviously Hoyt is annoyed at the thought of Styles messing with her head.
Yeah, she does, however, confirm that they are in the living room.
And Hoyt explains to the deputy that Styles is starting to fall apart. I think that's a
reasonable conclusion.
Very reasonable, and I think that could justify his actions. Look, he's breaking down, we need to storm this and start killing people, and that, this might just get him out of trouble.
Yeah.
Which is, again, a problem with Sam deciding that this crazy truth is...
Yeah, and I mean, this is his big crazy truth, but he does it with smaller crazy truths. We talked about it in almost every episode when he's talking about things he shouldn't possibly have any way to know.
Yeah, so Hoyt says, look, we're running out of time, and rather than make another call to him and speak to him, he intends on ending it now.
Yes. Inside, Sam, for some reason, requires validation from Carol.
Yeah, he's sitting sort of very pensively, and it appears that Carol does now believe what he's saying.
To some extent.
Because she asks what the future's like. But that could just be her trying to ingratiate herself or play along with us.
Exactly. She's in a room with a crazy guy. She needs to placate him to a certain extent.
Yeah. Sam's quite surprised, but she points out the contradictions about what Styles is meant to be like and him.
So Sam explains to her what Hoyt is going to do and tells her it's going to happen soon.
Yes, including the killing of Becky, or it should have happened.
Yes, that's been prevented.
Back at Project Quantum Leap, somehow Styles he's found his way back to the control room. I mean, how is he going to get back?
Because Al's told him not to.
Yeah, but how did he get back there?
Well, just
from the city.
Returns the route he came.
Really? You think that you could do that?
I don't know, maybe. Maybe he's got a sat-nav that he's figured out how to use.
Oh, you find out how to use that, yeah.
Anyway, I don't understand Gushy's actions here.
What are they?
So, Styles insists that he needs to go back to 1958 and Gushy needs to send him back to 1958. And if he doesn't, he's going to kill him. And Gushy says, you'll have to kill me because I can't do that. Why did you not just put him in the waiting room and lock the door?
Exactly.
Just say, yep, in there and I'll set it all up. Lock the door. Problem solved.
And I also, just on that, I mean, I don't understand. They're going to have to, after this is all finished, Project Quantum Leap is going to have to reassess their security measures. I mean, things like, okay, when someone leaps in, let's keep them locked up until we can see.
And talk to them through a window or something.
Yeah, are they aggressive? Are they angry? Make sure that anyone walking around with a gun, or don't have guns anywhere near the place.
Yes, don't come with weapons. Yeah.
And that's another thing where
who are you going to shoot? Who would ever be okay to shoot?
But this is a prime example of people thinking that as long as the good guys have got guns, they'll be perfectly safe. Yeah. No, bad guys can take the guns from the good guys.
But even the good guys have nobody to shoot. They're not allowed to shoot these guys. So what is the purpose of the gun?
You're at your work. Why do you need to walk about with a gun in the corridors of a science
project?
And if
they shoot these guys, Sam can't leap back.
Exactly.
So they can't ever shoot him.
You're asking for trouble having...
That said, if they shot him in both legs and left him there, Sam could still leap. Yeah. There'd be no problem.
Anyway, he says to Styles, it's not that simple, and they don't have control over how and when...
Yeah, for some reason he feels the need to explain the system.
No. Yeah, Styles asks, well, who does? And he sort of enigmatically, a bit vaguely says, well, it depends on your view and if you believe in God or not. So
there's no need for Gushy to engage in this. There was an easy solution. Right, anyway.
It doesn't get down. Yeah, it doesn't get down well with Styles. But just then, Al turns up
and tranquilises him.
Yeah, well, at first I wasn't sure he did.
It made a noise that was clearly not.
At first I wasn't sure it was a tranquilizer.
Yeah, it makes it clearly sounded like I want to say like a boing, sort of sound when he shoots him, rather than I don't have the sound in my head. But
right, okay.
It definitely wasn't a bullet sound.
Okay.
And they tranquilise him and they're going to move him into the waiting room.
Back in the house, Sam knows that his time is almost up, and so is about to let Carol go despite her knowing the consequences for him. She asks about Al, and Sam remarks that he must not have made it, only for his friend to dramatically prove him wrong.
Al, what's wrong? Are you all right?
Oh, yeah, it's nothing, just a couple of nights in bed with a hot nurse. I'll be fine.
I take it that you found Stiles?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we kind of ran into each other.
Where is he?
Oh, Sam, I nailed him with a tranquilizer dart right in the neck.
That's great. Where is he?
He's sleeping like...
Where?
In the waiting room.
In the waiting room? That's great.
What? What's great?
That's great. He got him. He's got him in the waiting room, too.
Oh.
In the waiting room.
Oh, good.
Yes.
You told her who you really
Look,
are?
it's a long story, and I'm running out of time here, okay? I mean, I should be leaping now, right? Because I'm...
Anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Look, I'm really sorry that you had to go through this, and I'm sorry that your little girl had to go through this. And for whatever it's worth, I think you're going to make a terrific doctor.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. He's ready.
What's the matter?
I'm not leaping. That's what's the matter. Why am I not leaping?
I don't know.
You don't know what you gotta know, Al. I'm running out of time.
Keep your hands where I see them, Stiles. You all right, miss?
Yeah, I'm fine.
That's good. Why don't you step over here and let Deputy Grimes take you out?
Sam, if she leaves, you're dead.
What about him?
Don't you worry. I'll take care of him. You go on now.
No.
What'd you say?
Maybe she's doing what he says.
Sam, no!
I'm not leaving. Not alone, I'm not.
This man is a cold-blooded killer.
But you're not. You're a daddy who misses his daughter. Be remembered for that, not this.
Okay, so first of all, I was outraged that Al and Sam are standing there expecting Sam to leap and then leave Carol in a room with Stiles and a gun.
Exactly. Stiles isn't going to play along with their plan.
He's not going to let her go.
No, he'll panic.
And sure.
Even if he didn't mean it, he is in a state of panic. His head is completely messed
They
up.
needed to put some separation between her and him and say to her, look, Stiles is going to come back into this body when I leap. You need to not be anywhere near him.
Play dead if you have to.
Yeah. Even like go and unlock the door and take Sam upstairs.
Yeah.
So that Carol's safe to leave. And then when Stiles comes in, she can make her exit.
Yeah.
But what they do there, if he had leapt there, she was dead.
Disgraceful.
Well, it's just thoughtless, isn't it? They're only thinking about Sam.
Ah, well.
Anyhow, Hoyt, after Carol's intervention, backs down, does not murder Stiles, and instead orders his arrest.
Yes, Sam is cuffed rather than killed. And as this is happening, Al informs him that that was the reason why he didn't leave. That was why he was there.
He didn't do anything.
No, it was to make
It was her.
Yes, yeah. Well, he did do it by... He had to convince her to stick up for him.
He put her in that position. And talking of enigmatically, he then tells her he has to go now and leaps.
Yeah, I think he thanks her for believing in him. Now, just like the orderly last week, the scumbag orderly,
yes,
he's now messed with someone else's head. For the rest of her life, this must play. She will think about this every day. Future boy.
Yeah, for at least, 30 years, 40 years until Sam Beckett becomes a known person.
Yeah, she'll be dead by that point. 58.
She'll only be in her 70s.
Yeah, probably dead.
I suppose, of old age. Sam's leap is another bit of contentious behaviour.
Yeah, it's into a man in a field with outstretched arms staring up into the sky at bright lights. And I think he's shouting, "Who are you?" in an excited voice.
He asks if they can hear him.
Yeah.
Why is he doing that?
Why is Sam playing some other character here?
Unless this is what Sam thinks.
Straight away, you think?
Yeah, you'd think, well, hang on, it's a bright light, what's going on? A triple oh boy?
Yes, he does.
That might be the most oh boys at one time we've had so far.
No doubt.
And that's the end.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was good. Did you think that Stiles deserved to live?
I mean,
he's going to the loony bin. He's coming back saying, I was in the future. I ran around.
If he's lucky.
I went to Sex World.
What state were they in? Do we find that out?
I don't think it was explained.
It seemed quite hillbilly-ish. Seemed quite red. I think they might be having the death penalty.
Yeah, that's possible.
So he might get away with it by being a maniac.
Yes, by being insane and getting committed.
Yeah.
I've already asked you why Gucci didn't just lock him in the waiting room, which I'm still annoyed about.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one of those occasions where you're going to forgive Sam for revealing his true identity? Do you think he should have found a better way?
Well, I suppose that's what you have to ask. Was there a better way? What else could he have done or should he have done?
Yep. Shot himself in both legs so he couldn't escape and forced them to arrest him.
Yeah. I think in this case, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this one?
No, it was good. It was good.
Memorable. It originally aired on the 20th of October, so after a 1 week hiatus, 1992. Directed, final episode for Michael W. Watkins, the 6th of his 6 episodes. If you want to hear more about him, head back to the podcast for A Little Miracle. Same as last week, it was written by Tommy Thompson. This was the 10th of his 13. For more on him, head back to Leaping In Without a Net, and I made the joke about that last week. Carol, played by Connie Ray, her only quantum leap. She's also in things like Speed 2, ER, The Marvellous Mrs. Maisel, and The Good Fight. She's now 68, still active. Leon Stiles was played by Cameron Dye. Again, he's only quantum leap. He's also in things like Cagney and Lacey, Murder, She Wrote, ER, and The Wonder Years. He's sons with 2 different actors, Laura San Giacomo and Tracy Middendorf. And he's now 65, still active. Sheriff Hoyt was played by Jim Haney. This was his only quantum leap. He is also in things like The Bridges of Madison County, ER, Escape from Alcatraz, Dallas. He died in 2021 when he was 81. Joe Malone played Deputy Grimes. This one's quite interesting. This was his only quantum leap. He's also in things like Dallas, Seinfeld, Universal Soldier, Hocus Pocus, but perhaps better known for his work as a choreographer. Emmy nominated for the choreography on Tracy Takes On, which is Tracy Ullman's show. Boston Public. He's won 2 American Choreography Awards, one for Boston Public, one for Ally McBeal, which had a lot of weird dances going on in it, so he's maybe to blame for some of that. He was a dancer in the video for Michael Jackson's song Beat It, and worked as a choreographer on Smooth Criminal, and choreographed the Broadway show Lennon. And he has a nice range of candles. Okay. Dennis Wolfberg returned as Gucci, 5th of his 6. Hear more about him on the podcast for Genesis, right back at the start of season 1. The sex worker was played by Carolyn Lowry. This was her only quantum leap. She's also appeared in things like Friends, Diagnosis Murder, and Charmed. Her last screen credit was 2001. Becky, the little girl, Becky Pruitt, was played by Beverly Mitchell. Again, her only quantum leap. She's gone on to appear in things like Seventh Heaven, Melrose Place, The Secret Life of the American Teenager, The Crow, City of Angels, and Saw 2. She released an album of country music called Daywind in 2007, and she's now 43, still active. Finally, the TV reporter at the very start was played by a guy called Lewis Dauber. This was his only quantum leap. He's a former banker. He went on to appear in things like Jingle All the Way, Something's Gotta Give, The Island, and The Twilight Zone. He died in 2019 when he was 70. In terms of the deleted scene that I mentioned, so originally there was an opening scene where Styles overpowered a Marine and took his weapon. It was cut because it didn't really work with the rest of the episode, but that's how he ended up with a gun. He drove from apparently New Mexico to LA in an hour. I think it's about 1,500 miles.
Why do you think it was LA?
I think it says in the episode he's going to LA.
Does it?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, in terms of things that we learned, Sam can't leap if the leapy's not in the waiting room.
Oh.
Gucci can tune his brainwaves into both Al and Sam.
Sam's leaping has been going on for 5 years.
Yeah, which is a year longer than we've seen, because we're only at the start of the 5th year here.
And 1999 looks like Blade Runner.
A little bit. That's how I remember 1999. All neon Christmas tree light outfits. In respect of on this date, on the 18th of June 1958, the first supermarket opened in New Zealand. Sri Lanka established diplomatic relationships with China, and the Soviet Union revised their agricultural policy to reduce the burden on farmers, and Paul McCartney turned 16.
Okay. Number 1 is the UK had Connie Francis with Who's Sorry Now, whilst in the USA it was Sheb Woolley with The Purple People Eater.
Minnesota Vikings had a defensive line that was nicknamed the Purple People Eaters because they were good.
There you go.
Next time, Sam spots some UFOs and receives some unwanted attention from the US military. So, we'll see you in 1966.
Until then,
cheerio.
Bye-bye.